Hello everybody, Gamer here, and here it is! The second prototype is finally ready. This took me 3 weeks to finish while managing work and personal life, and oh man, in the end I just hope it was worth it. Let's go over some of the major changes and additions. If you played the first prototype, you probably noticed that you ended up playing a generic knight instead of Sonic. Well, that is because this knight is named Harold and is one of RPG Maker's default playable characters. However, he is already replaced with a functional Sonic sprite. And the same thing goes with the Tails sprite in the conversation demo from the first prototype. Now, while I am glad to have these sprites, they are not the final versions and will only be used for testing purposes. On top of that, they do seem a little off to me. What I mean is that every NPC in the game is shorter than the sprite of Sonic, when it should be the other way around. And his animation for walking down just seems a little too... blocky to me. But regardless, I hope you guys are happy with the Sonic sprite, as I shall be using it for the majority of the prototypes until I hire a sprite designer to create original sprites for the characters you'll see in the final game. And, as you might have noticed already, I added more to the test map than what was seen before, such as outhouses, an area with 3 mysterious NPCs, the removal of the canoe from the first build, the ability to jump over certain ledges and gaps. I have also added stuff to do in the dungeon that had nothing in it until now, and this will lead to a major quest that took me 3 weeks to script and set up. And there's a ton of other small secrets, but I think it would be more fun if you discovered it on your own. Now, these are small additions that can only take a minute or two to add to the game. However, the 2 big additions I added are a concept of how the poison system works and a new complex quest. Now, in order to learn about the poison system, you must go to this fairy who will give you 10,000 rings, which is more than enough to buy 5 items this merchant has. Each of these 5 items plays a part in the poison system and is actually executed differently than your usual RPG. What I mean by that is when you get poisoned in your usual fantasy RPG, all you have to do is use antidote and your party member is cured right away. However, Sonic's world isn't really a fantasy as much as it is science fiction, so potions and elixirs don't exist in Sonic's world, and therefore an antidote shouldn't be powerful enough to cure a person right away. To learn how the poison system works, go speak to this sign after you purchased all 5 items and it will tell you how the entire concept works. Now, I say concept because the system isn't functioning entirely as intended. The sign will explain what those problems are and what I hope to get fixed in the future. As far as I know, no RPG has ever made a poison system this innovative, and I hope it adds pressure on the player to take better care of their party members. But not too much pressure that it's not fun, and I can't wait for the full thing to be finished once these roadblocks are cleared. And now, let's talk about the big quest that took me 3 weeks to finish, and truth be told, I'd rather have you guys figure it out on your own so I don't ruin the experience. Let's just say, this quest should be a solid reflection on how your choices affect the story and the characters around you. Unlike the Tails demo, where literally the only thing remembered is whether or not you scared Tails or knocked on the door, this quest will track a good chunk of every decision you make. And depending on what choices you make, it can split the story into multiple endings. Once you finish this quest, go speak to the sign here where it will tell you how to get the other endings and how the entire quest works. While the quest itself and the character involved will not be in the final game, this will demonstrate the type of game I want for a telltale experience of a Sonic RPG. In the end, I hope you guys love it. And I think it's best if I spoil nothing so the first time can be a good experience for you. And that should be the majority of what's added in the game. And if you ever want to be certain if you found most of what this test build has to offer, go to this sign which will tell you the percentage you explored. If you get 100%, you will be rewarded with additional information. So go ahead, click the link in the description down below and try this build yourself. There should be a link for Windows users and Mac users. And if you want a place to discuss the prototypes or just Gamer in general, I also have a link to my official Discord server. Check it out and who knows, you might be able to make some friends or enemies because you got different endings. Until then, I will be working on the third prototype and will be adding a lot more content. And I'll try to keep active on upload since I haven't really been doing that recently. Whatever the case, I shall be working hard to bring you guys some fun content and hopefully a fun Sonic fan game in the end.